Hello and welcome everyone, this is Type V3, and when it comes to fierce, fictional female high schoolers of Japanese origin, Mato Kuroi certainly wouldn't be considered as one of them. However, the same can't be said for her alter ego, which brings me to this, Figma Black Rock Shooter, the TV animation version. Now while this isn't the first Figma iteration of the character, could this possibly be the best? A dark elegance seems to be the theme of this character's conceptual design. On the face of it, the look is somewhat simple, with all the real complexities lying within the details. Her high-cut boots, for example, may just be black, but the tops of them follow the same lines as her jacket. Her ankled belt and drastically different pigtails add to the overall look by disturbing what should be a symmetrical attire. The choice of colors are simply sublime. Black Rock Shooter's overcoat is a delicious candy black, and when combined with her ghostly pale skin, it makes for quite the bold contrast of shades. Small additions of color, such as her silver heels, dark brown waistband, and navy highlights in her hair, keep things from getting too stale and breathe life into the figure. Her sculpting and proportions gain some huge benefits from her design, as many of the joints are hidden by her jacket or blend completely into the dark color scheme. BRS has always been one of my favorite character designs, as she doesn't resemble a hero in any regard, yet there's enough of a slight sense of justice behind her to discern that she must be an enemy of evil. Having said that, she's still effectively a 15-year-old girl showing a lot of skin, so if this look doesn't appeal to you, then I can't fault your questioning opinion. Standing at about 5.5 inches tall, her height reflects her price point as one of the mid-range figures in the Figma line. Although, when you factor in just how much plastic is used to make up her hair and jacket, her cost ends up seeming like quite the bargain. BRS also comes with two faces, and to tell you the truth, there's not much difference between them. One is slightly more serious, but both are entirely emotionless. Don't mistake that for a fault though, because fictionally, Black Rock Shooter is described as having no emotions or any other thoughts besides the pure instinct to fight. An included yelling face would probably have worked out too, but I'm unsure if that would have suited the character at all. Black Rock Shooter's got pretty much standard Figma articulation, so I won't bore you guys with the details there. I'll just show you the interesting stuff. So, the cool thing is, her hair, if you've noticed, are on Figma joints themselves, so they can have their own cool articulation and whatnot and go all around and crazy, so that's cool. The other thing too is, this may look like soft plastic, and for the most part it is, but they're actually pretty tough. I mean, they were not gonna draw blood if you poke at them, but they are sharp enough to, I guess, injure someone ever so slightly, at least cause a scratch or two. Here, her hood piece, it's connected by two tabs, one in the front, one in the back. The front one on mine doesn't like to stick in, so it tends to pop up every now and then. So I guess I might just have to cut that down or whatnot. The other cool thing, her jacket has two separate Figma joints on the back, so they can move independently, and when you have more dynamic posing options, they can, I guess, move out cool like that, so cool stuff. I was a little disappointed in her ankles. I mean, because of her giant platform heels, there is no rocker joint to go side and side, or at least it's very limited in the amount that it can move. There's good back and forth motion, though. And what's cool is, you may not see it because the joint is actually cut right under the bikini top, but there is an ab crunch there, or at least a torso crunch there. The only issue, and I don't know if it'll make it out on camera, is that the black of her bikini tends to rub off onto the pale skin and creates like these little black smudging effects. And I've seen the same thing happen around here on her thigh, so uh, it's a little bit of a disappointment, but it's so slight that I'm not really going to harp on it too much. One of Black Rock Shooter's symbolic character traits is her flaming blue eye. To achieve this, a second front hairpiece with the flame attached has been included. It's actually an effective solution, as I initially thought it would have been some sort of clumsy clip-on feature. Now, up close and from certain angles, the illusion of the flame is broken due to the fact that it doesn't actually come in contact with the eye. But I can easily overlook this flaw, as it seems to have been designed as a precaution to avoid scratching the paintwork of the face. As expected, she also comes with a variety of hands. The 12 included range from fists to open palms, along with accessory holding variations for each. In fact, she comes with so many hands that one pair has to be stored separately in the Figma bag, as the standard hand rack just isn't large enough. Surprisingly, she doesn't have any pointing finger or thumbs up hands. Again, these would not suit the character at all, but they are those items that you always expect to be included with the Japanese figures. However, 2 of the 6 pairs of her hands included are straight pegged and offer no articulation. These are specifically meant to hold her weapons. Black Rock Shooter's arsenal is comprised of the Black Blade and the iconic Rock Cannon. Both can be wielded in either hand, and unlike the simple and clean look of BRS herself, these weapons have been painted in an older, more rustic look. The sword is mostly a matte black, but the silver edge has a blackened effect which gives it that tired and worn out feel. The cannon, on the other hand, is the real standout piece. The spotty metallic black and brown finish give it that decaying look, and the silver scratches, be it on the edges or on the barrel itself, give the impression that this trusty weapon has been through many great battles in its time. The triumph of these weapons is how they manage to suit the characters so well, even though they have a completely different design approach. Now here's where things get interesting. This cannon is huge and heavy, so as you'd imagine, those thin arms can't really hold on to it, especially with that very loose grip there. However, you do get a second Figma stand, apart from the basic one that's used here, and there is a hole on the bottom of this rock cannon, so you can essentially just plug it in, and now you can get any sort of shooting poses that you would like out of Black Rock Shooter and her cannon. Another cool thing is these also open up, so that's pretty cool, but the thing is, I only ever recall these opening up when it switched into the chain gun mode, and since this figure doesn't come with any blast effect parts, I kind of wish that a chain gun attachment for the rock cannon were included. But, again, it's not that much of an issue. Now, if all this wasn't enough, Black Rock Shooter comes with one final party piece, a second head, and with it, her hood. This is probably going to be the sole attraction for this Figma BRS, even if you have all the others. It really gives the character a darker and more mysterious look. Of course, you can use either of the two faces with this head, however you can't attach the blue flaming eyepiece. On top of that, almost all her neck articulation has been completely eliminated, and the default positioning of her head is staring slightly downwards. But seriously? Who cares? Because the final look is downright fantastic. Black Rock Shooter is one of those characters that can draw in an audience from her look alone. Even if you haven't watched the anime or read the manga, I'm sure just staring at this figure has forced your mind to conceive some sort of opinion, be it appeal or complete disinterest. For myself, one of the most successful design traits that she offers is just how unsexualized she seems to appear even though she's mostly naked. Aesthetics aside, as a collector-oriented toy, she's absolutely fantastic. Her screen accuracy and detailing is almost at the level of a statue. She's got a multitude of accessories, everything has been beautifully painted, and the inclusion of a second head along with the additional Figma stand really emphasizes the fact that there's a lot of value in this set. At this point in the review, I want to tell you that I think this is an example of a perfect toy, or at least very close to one, but as a collector, I can't ever be satisfied, and so I must resort to nitpicking. Her two faces are too similar, and I would have preferred something a little more drastic. I'm also not a fan of the color of her overcoat smearing onto her skin, and I do wish that her hooded head had better articulation. Most of all, I wish there were some included blast effect parts. If not that, then maybe a chain gun attachment for the rock shooter. But again, I've had to think real hard for these complaints, and none of them actually bother me at all. Ultimately, Figma Black Rock Shooter is an awesome release and one that shouldn't be overlooked. If you haven't yet jumped into the Figma line, this is a great place to start. She's got some extremely minor flaws, but the overall package is supreme, and at the time of this recording, easily my favorite purchase of the year. However, it's worth mentioning that this is the TV animation version, and if you prefer the simpler build and smoother hair of the OVA design, then you're better off skipping this one. Anyways, this has been Type V3. Thanks for watching, but don't think you've seen everything yet, because there's a stronger, faster, and crucially more insane side to Black Rock Shooter.